Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Liberty Call. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. Hope you're having a fantastical day out there. I don't know if y'all heard this. There was an election yesterday, and evidently Mr. Trump was reelected. Who knew? All right. So welcome to the Liberty Call. It is snowing here in what is normally sunny Colorado. There's about a foot of snow out of my driveway. It is not looking very pleasant. I've already had to use the snowblower once this week, and I'm probably going to have to use it tomorrow morning and then again on Saturday. So we didn't get snow we usually get snow here in Colorado in my part of the state. Usually first or second week of October is usually normally the first snowfall. It waited until the last week of October, right after Halloween, to get our first bit of snow, and then this week we're getting hammered. Anyways, all right, well, it looks like the markets were in a better mood. So before we jump into those markets, yes, I see you sitting there. If you could give me some thumbs up, a like, a share, subscribe, a follow, and press that notification bell. All right, well, now we can get into the markets. They were in, like I said, a very good mood. Dow Jones was up 3.57%, 1,508 points, closed at 43,729. The S&P 500 was up 2.53%, 146 points, closed at 59.29. NASDAQ up 2.93%, 539 points, closed at 18,978. The VIX fell 20.6% today. It's back down to 16.27. Canada up 1.02, Brazil down 0.29, and Mexico up 1.61. Let's head over to Europe. Not as good of a mood. Germany down 1.14, the UK down 0.07, France down 0.51%, Netherlands down 0.83%, Spain down 2.9%, Italy down 1.54%, Switzerland down 0.16%, and Portugal down 3.27%. So what's going on there on the Iberian Peninsula? Spain down 2.9%, and Portugal, where's Portugal? Portugal down 3.2%. That's big. All right, Russian exchanges both green. MOEX up 1.79, RTSI up 1.62. And the overnights, the Nikkei was up 2.16, Australia up 0.83, New Zealand up 0.48. Actually, it hasn't been open since the 5th. Let's see here. The Shanghai in China was down 0.09%. Shenzhen Component down 0.35. China A50 down 1.09%. DJ Shanghai down 0.02. Hang Seng down 2.23%. And the Taiwan weighted up 0.48 for the day. All right. Kind of a boring day in the news. I mean, I had some meetings, and but just, I was looking for topics to cover, and it's either election stuff, which, or a little bit of the economy, but tough finding stuff to talk about today. All right, let's get to the market recap. Stocks surged to record highs as Trump returns to the presidency. U.S. stocks surged to record highs on Wednesday after Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election in a surprising comeback. I don't know if it was that surprising, quite honestly. Investors anticipating lower taxes, deregulation, and a president favorable to business drove the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and NASDAQ composite to all-time highs. Trump's win revived the Trump trade, with the U.S. Treasury yield spiking and Bitcoin reaching a record of over 75,000. The dollar is also recorded its largest one-day gain since 2022. A clear election result helped alleviate market concerns about prolonged uncertainty. The Dow Jones gained 1,450 points, or 3.43%, closing at 43,671, while the S&P 500 rose 2.39 and NASDAQ climbed 2.78. Financial stocks led the S&P 500 sectors, with banks surging nearly 10% on expectations of looser regulations. Small cap stocks represented by the Russell 2000 jumped over 5%, benefiting from expected deregulation and lower tax burdens. However, rising Treasury yields could challenge smaller companies sensitive to borrowing costs. The fear gauge, or VIX, dropped to 16.37, indicating reduced market anxiety. Meanwhile, sectors sensitive to interest rates, such as real estate and utilities, declined as investors anticipated potential inflation or rate hikes under Trump's policies. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut the interest rate by 25 basis points soon. The meeting is going on as we speak and will conclude tomorrow. Though rate cut expectations for the next year have been tempered. Stocks poised to thrive under a Trump administration also performed well, including Trump Media and Technology Group and Tesla, which gained 3% and 14% respectively. Cryptocurrency and energy stocks rose sharply, while renewable energy stocks lagged. The Republican Senate majority and potential House control are seen as further supporting Trump's policy agenda. All right. So again, everything is election, election, election. I'd be glad to get back to just talking about the economy and how that, what's actually going on in the economy, and that's not, politically motivated. All right. Next up, this comes from Zero Hedge. Schiff, the data says stagflation. So Peter Schiff comes from his podcasts, which I listen to on a regular basis. All right. So in his recent commentary, Peter Schiff discusses the concerning state of the U.S. economy in light of the latest disappointing non-farm payroll report, which significantly missed expectations by adding only 12,000 jobs instead of the anticipated 125,000. He highlights that this weak performance, coupled with downward revisions of previous month's data, contradicts the media and political narrative that the economy is healthy. Schiff argues that voters are not convinced by optimistic portrayals of the Biden-Harris economy and are seeking change due to the realities of stagflation, a combination of stagnation and inflation. Schiff critiques the Federal Reserve's strategy of cutting interest rates in hopes of stimulating the economy, stating that this approach is backfiring. Instead of spurring growth, the rate cuts have led to a rise in long-term interest rates as bond investors lose confidence in the government's ability to repay the debt without resorting to inflationary measures. He emphasizes that the Fed is trapped between combating inflation and addressing a weakening economy, a predicament exacerbated by mounting political pressure ahead of the imminent presidential election. Schiff believes the Fed will likely succumb to this pressure and resume quantitative easing, further fueling the inflation. Turning to the political landscape, Schiff notes fluctuations in betting markets regarding Donald Trump's election prospects. He interprets the decline in Trump's stock prices not as a loss of confidence, but traders unwinding their positions to secure profits. Additionally, Schiff comments on MicroStrategy CEO's Michael Saylor's plan to purchase over $40 billion in Bitcoin, drawing a parallel to Captain Ahab's obsessive pursuit in Moby Dick. He warns that such a massive investment could lead to the company's downfall, advising Bitcoin enthusiasts to be cautious. Concluding his analysis, Schiff expresses his support for Trump as a candidate who could politically address political dysfunction, but cautions against overstating the successes of Trump's first term. He argues the economic issues like government spending and trade deficits worsened during that period, partly due to policies like slashing interest rates and quantitative easing, which created an illusion of prosperity. Schiff stresses the importance of acknowledging the shortcomings to effectively solve the underlying economic problems facing the republic. All right, so he's kind of mixed. Same here. I mean, Trump has his flaws. But anyways. All right. Last article from the Mises Institute, Why Trump's Victory Matters and Why It Doesn't. And this was written by Connor O'Keefe. All right. Donald Trump has won the 2024 election, securing the White House with victories in key states, and Republicans have retaken control of the Senate. The House of Representatives is still contested, but Republicans are favored to gain control there as well. Trump's victory, after years of intense media scrutiny and establishment opposition, marks a significant repudiation of the Washington political class. In his first term, Trump had partially aligned with establishment policies despite his anti-establishment rhetoric, but his recent campaign strategically bypassed traditional media, focusing on alternative platforms to reach voters directly. The election result shows ongoing public dissatisfaction with the establishment, yet challenges remain in Trump's second term, neoconservatives and establishment. Neoconservatives and establishment Republicans could attempt to steer his policies, especially on trade and foreign relations, potentially pushing for policies that expand government power. Additionally, Trump's hawkish stance on China and Iran, along with his proposed tariffs, might enhance government intervention, contrasting with his anti-establishment promises. The election also raises concerns about the Federal Reserve's monetary policy, which has led to persistent inflation and income disparity. Critics like Peter Schiff and other Austrian economists argue that central bank money printing benefits the politically connected at the public's expense, creating a cycle of debt and economic strain that fuels inflation and exacerbates social and economic issues. These critics contend that Washington uses this inflationary mechanism to finance extensive government programs, including the military-industrial complex, which sustains U.S. foreign interventions and contributes to global instability. Despite celebrating the defeat of the political establishment, true reform, they argue, requires a deeper public understanding of how central banking and interventionist policies enrich a select few while burdening the majority. Only the greater public awareness of these mechanisms can elections foster more meaningful and sustainable change. Yeah, when you work for the military, you're basically just a lackey for Boeing and Lockheed and the military-industrial complex, because you're not doing anything to actually protect the homeland. You're doing nothing but causing destruction abroad. So, yeah, I'm glad my son is finished with his time in the military. He started his real job on Monday, and he's still technically on the payroll of the federal government until his discharge date, but he is on leave and working as a civilian. So, all right, well, that's everything that I had for today. If anyone needs anything from me, please go to DSAFinancialGroup.com. All your financial planning needs can be addressed there, so feel free to give me a call. Me and my boy Jake back here will be happy to help. All right, well, that's everything that I had for today. And like I said, if you need something from me, go to the website. Otherwise, have a great evening, and we'll talk again next time. Adios.